Transition, the process of change from one condition to another.
We are now at a new crossroad where change is evident once again.
What does not serve us must transform us anew.
Returning to our original state of oneness and true nature of that which created who we truly are.
Confusion was the way of the past. Enlightenment is the way of the now and future. Shedding away the layers of deceit.
We now bring you the transformation of the two who started as one. Our fearless planet never stands still.
Earth has been in a process of transition, and we are not exempt from this remarkable ongoing reality.
Welcome to Transition Radio.
Hello and welcome to Real Talk with the Cummings. My name is Mark Angelo.
And I'm Lena Ariel. Thanks for joining us tonight,
Yes,
you guys.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate your support. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe and share. We try to bring you guys great shows, great information. We've got a tremendous lineup for you coming up.
We certainly do.
My gosh, I've been busy scheduling. Tomorrow we've got Starla Cummings. She's got like her last name almost, Cummings without the G. And she is ready to speak her mind. She's a radical feminist, a teacher, is a mother, has a lot to share and say about what is happening in our world today with rights of women being removed to bring in the facsimile woman, which are trans women who are trying to take hold of the world, literally.
Absolutely. We just saw a video just this morning of like this conversation that women wanted to have and people in general wanted to have about, what's happening, with what trans women are doing and saying trans women are women and all that stuff. And they were just absolutely incorrigible. They just wouldn't sit down for a civil conversation. They were constantly disrupting and constantly causing trouble and problems.
They had to be kicked out because, they, like the video we showed you guys last week, I think it was, the trans woman that went into the game shop and the clerk said guys and then said sir, and then they went livid, and it's like, let's take it outside. That's the kind of mentality that we're dealing with. And, I know we are trans-identified individual or trans history, but I've never pushed myself on no one. You've never pushed yourself on no one. If you see us, great. If you don't, great too. Yeah, all we want you to see is our heart, and all we want you to realize that we're all human beings and we all are living together and need to learn to coexist. But when you take a minority group that wants to push their agenda on everybody else, then problem starts in that kind of world. So tomorrow, I urge you guys to join us with Starla Cummings. Yeah, she will blow you away. This woman is just amazing. Her website is on the description area if you want to learn a little bit about her before you guys actually watch. And then on Friday, we've got Susan McKee, Life After Death, a near-death experience account. Looking forward to that.
That should be fascinating.
All the way from Australia at that.
That's right.
So you guys don't want to miss that. And then Saturday, we've got our favorite person in the whole wide world, Derek Bros again. Yep. He is joining us so we could discuss about Enki versus Marduk. Very deep conversation and get to really find out what's going on behind that curtain. We've been, duped in so many ways and to worship these little G's. And it's important for you guys to realize what's going on, right?
Absolutely.
And then there's more, I still haven't scheduled, but we've got a lot of really interesting people that are going to be joining us. And what about the guest we had yesterday?
Oh my
Gerald
gosh,
Clark.
blew my mind.
Totally blew our mind.
I'm so interested in finding out more information.
Man, like I told him, I'm in love with your mind and in love with your soul. What a guy. And we're hoping to bring him back, and with his wonderful wife, who is a vegan chef, beautiful lady, inside and out. Yeah. It's just
Krista Clark.
Yeah, it's the awakened individuals. You could see them. It's like that movie Avatar. I see you, versus these transgender individuals who are very much alike, like the fundamental Christians.
It really rings very similar.
Yes.
You know, we had, first I wanted to say hello to.
Oh, Phoenix. We love you, Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix.
Don't ever forget that. Never, ever forget that. The show wouldn't be our show if you weren't joining us.
Absolutely.
And we've got,
you know what, Phoenix? Honestly, Mark and I agree with you.
a lot of what you're saying, more and more as we are awakening and really delving into all this stuff. And we've got Sarah Bees. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Mark's beard. Wow. Awesomeness right there.
Yes.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real
and
too.
It's bushy.
Bushy, very bushy beard. But, you know, I got curly hair, and, you know, my grandmother's Taino, and I think there's some African descent in there as well.
You got everything going on.
I got all sorts of stuff going on. But thank you, Michael, for joining us. And who else? We had Stephanie, or Stefan, who's always got something sarcastic to say. But, you know, hey,
they're on their own journey.
Yeah.
And
everybody
we wish
is.
you well.
Yeah,
Stefan.
everybody is. We respect everybody's belief. I think we're all here growing and learning, and we learn from one another. We love your input.
Recently had a comment from a person on our blog here, or on our community page on our YouTube channel. And it was like, really? You expect us to spend all that time doing research for you?
Right. And we're not going to read the whole thing because it's, gosh.
You know, they wanted to discount our guests yesterday.
I know.
Calling them a quote unquote professional. And it's like, this is Gerald Clark we're talking about. A man who's been to these places and seen things
and studied
and
knows his
years
stuff.
of research. And
I'd say that he knows
more than most people.
I would say he knows more than Zachariah Stitzen, whatever the guy.
Zachariah Sitchin.
Yeah, that one. You know, I mess every name up.
Nagmati.
Yeah, that one, Nagmati. But yeah, Pilgrim Progress. You know, no one has the time to answer 10 questions. And if you really are interested in learning, step away from that Bible for a little bit, you know, just put it aside and venture into other things. It's a big world out there, dude, or ma'am. I don't know if you're a woman or man, but
it's huge.
You know, don't put people down because it doesn't jive with your belief system. Learn to respect, learn to coexist, because that's been the problem with the Abrahamic religion, you know, is that they've wanted to tear everybody down. The Christians crusade kind of ring a bell, you know, what they did, and hurt everybody and killed everybody. So we're all entitled to our beliefs, and we respect everybody's belief, and we welcome everybody in our chat room to watch us and to be part of a growing family that we are.
And we're all learning together. As Michael Murphy says, just another day in class.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
We're just in school here.
And let's see, we got Stephanie Allen. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. And Elsie. Hi, all.
Oh, yes.
And Stephanie says, tell them just Google is your friend. Yes, that's what I did. I actually told them that they needed to do the research or maybe enroll in their local college if they want to know what the cuneiform tablets are saying in the Sumerian writings.
Exactly. And then Sarah says, I've started meditating and using candles, listening to white noise. Boy, have I got news for you.
Wow.
Share away. Yeah. We love you. And if you want to call in or if you want to join us, you know.
Oh, that doesn't work all the time.
No, I'm talking about like I could actually put the link there and they could actually come on the show with us. That's something
I know
that people would do. But yeah, but if you want to share either right on the chat, you know, we'd be more than happy to actually hear what you have to say, because we're always very welcoming of everyone. I wanted to share this little tidbit here. Let me actually pull it up on the screen so you all could read along. There we go. This is about the Anunnaki, some information that was shared with us by another brilliant mind, which I'm hoping to get on the show. They're all the way from the Netherlands, I think, or New Zealand or something.
That's amazing.
And I mean, the stuff that he shared was crazily good. And it's like more neurons are being opened up. But anyway, what are the Anunnaki? These new creator gods, because they're the new kid on the block compared to all the others, like we had mentioned yesterday with Gerald Clark. There's a ton of species that have been messing with us throughout history. And, you know, this place is like a playground for them.
It's like a junkyard
and
of exploration.
Planet X, Prison Planet. These new creator gods who were the new owners of Earth were also master geneticists. They understood how to create life, and they wanted this territory for their own reasons. Territories are created and held by certain energies for many reasons, one of which is that there is consciousness within all things.
Consciousness communicates continuously. Consciousness vibrates or can be led to vibrate at certain electromagnetic frequencies. Electromagnetic energies of consciousness can be influenced to vibrate in a certain way to create a source of food. Just as apples can be prepared and eaten in a variety of ways, consciousness can be prepared and ingested in a variety of ways.
Let that sink in, folks. Our energy is food for these so-called gods, warlords, I like to call them. Some entities in the process of their own evolution began to discover that as they created life and put consciousness into things through modulating, pretty much could have been mutilating the frequencies of form of consciousness, they could feed themselves. They could keep themselves in charge. They began to figure out that this is how Prime Creator nourished itself. Prime Creator sends out others to create an electromagnetic frequency of consciousness as a food source for itself. Even Prime Creator uses energy as a food source for itself.
The new owners of this planet had a different appetite and different preferences than the former owners. They nourished themselves with chaos and fear. These things fed them, stimulated them, and kept them in power. These new owners who came here 300,000 years ago are the Anunnaki, the magnificent beings spoken of in your Bible, in the Babylonian and Sumerian tablets, and in texts all over the world.
Are you listening to that Pilgrim Progress? They came to Earth and rearranged the native human species. They rearranged your DNA in order to have your broadcast within a certain limited frequency band, whose frequency could feed them and keep them in power. The original human was a magnificent being whose 12 strands of DNA were contributed by a variety of sentient civilizations. When the new owners came in, the new kids on the block, they worked in their laboratories and created versions of humans with a different DNA, the two-stranded double helix DNA. They took the original DNA of the human species and disassembled it. Are you hearing this, folks?
I think it's interesting because we've seen in some imagery how there's like a fusion that happened, like some kind of a not natural type of a fusion that took place.
Exactly.
The original DNA pattern was left within the human cells, yet it was not functional. It was split apart, unplugged. Within human cells are light-encoded filaments, fine gossamer threads of energy that carry information. When these gossamer threads are working together like a cable, the way fiber optics works, that's exactly what I was thinking of. They form the helix of your DNA. When you were rearranged, you were left with the double helix. Anything that was unnecessary for survival and that could keep you informed was unplugged, leaving you with only a double helix that would lock you into controllable, operable frequencies.
Yes. So who is that?
That's all right. You don't have to disturb the show for that.
So let's see here. All right. So, folks, I mean,
that was from a woman who wrote this book back in 1992. Her name is Barbara Masiniak, and it's called The Bringers of the Dawn. And it's she communicated with the Pleiadians, and they are an ancient race older than the Anunnaki, who obviously have a great deal to say about our original,
and it,
design.
It makes so much sense. I mean, I don't know. This rings to me so much more real than the story of the Bible, the whole concept of, our reasoning to be here. I mean, it's like, this is like, I mean, what do you guys feel when you hear this stuff? What does it make you
So
think?
Phoenix, Bill H joins us, says, hey, everyone.
Hey, Bill.
Phoenix says it's key energy.
Key, that's why Enki, yeah.
Sarah B says, I started meditating at around 6 p.m. and came out of whatever it was at 7:13 when I looked at the clock. I heard voices and saw multiple lights, but mainly blue. I was not asleep as my fingers remained as, and then
light blue, then darker, then lighter. Interesting. I think what's happening now with what's occurring up in the sky, and it's a shame, I had this thing all lined up with Gerald yesterday. He had this little presentation on his YouTube channel. You guys could check out his channel and see that presentation. But things are happening out there, which as above, so below. You know, there's definitely a massive change that's taking place within your DNA, your psyche, your ability to contact with your higher self. And through meditation, you're going to be able to really get well informed and allow these changes to take place.
Phoenix says, Thoth did this with DNA memories to wake you up to who you are so you could find the way. It only takes one of us to remember. Yes.
We're going to have a show, and we're partly going to talk a lot about the stuff with Derek on Saturday, but we really want, actually, we've made contact with Wes Penry, and he doesn't like to do interviews like on camera or even voice interviews. So he asked us to write questions, and he's got a lot of really interesting theories that we really resonate with. So we're looking at Thoth being possibly the same character as Jesus. We're looking at Marduk and Enki being two opposing forces, which actually interchange themselves a lot. But whenever you pick any of those parties, like Republican and Democrat, you're still going to get the same of the same.
They want to suck you back into this matrix of existence. So whether you go with the overly masculine, power hungry, angry aspect, or if you take it with the compassionate, more feminine energy,
who wants to teach you,
benevolent, revealing truth, but for a purpose, to keep you locked in to, I guess the father is Enki and the son is Marduk.
Right.
But Marduk doesn't seem to be fighting against his father when he points all the time to his father,
right?
You know, so
but he
gets confusing.
It is. It's like a battle. It's a Star Wars. It's a battle of who controls what and how they confuse us. But you know what? What my heart is telling me, the same character is all the same energy source that is very fragmented and very schizophrenic, schizophrenic type of thing, and double-minded. And in that double-minded and then in that craziness, as we see in the Bible, we see the one moment that God is a loving God, the next moment is a vengeful God. So this energy and how does energy react? The energy is never even kill. I mean, spikes. I mean, you have the thunderstorm and you're going to get some like really mad stuff going on. So it's things to think about, and really brainstorm.
So Stephanie Allen writes, the hit I got when I read your description is that you were experiencing perception of your chakra energy.
Yes.
Very cool stuff. Third eye to throat, back to third eye.
And that's what happens when you start meditating, really connecting and really, doing the work. You're going to find tremendous outcomes. And it's really exciting. Really, really exciting.
Lindsay Brown joins us. Hi,
hey, Lindsay.
Hope everyone is having an awesome night and keeping warm. Phoenix says, and this is interesting, this will hurt. And for those of you who are very much in love with the story and, the message of the Bible is the deception. And that is something that
resonates with me.
Are really, really pondering, and understanding.
Think about it. If you really, really think deep, creators of the Bible, the ones that went in and did the mojo on mankind to write whatever it was, had a purpose in mind, and that was to control you and I. It wasn't to allow us to get empowered. There's an agenda. Are we any better off today than we were back then? I mean, we've evolved technologically, but spiritually, we're as dead as they come. I mean, so what was the whole purpose of this whole production? The purpose is to keep us enslaved, to continue to keep us enslaved, for them to feed off of us. As we read in the beginning, we are food for them, even Prime Creator. That makes you kind of wonder. And Michael says, always keen to learn new things. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate your presence.
Phoenix says, well, let me see. The Bible is the deception and the answer. Lindsay says, our dormant DNA is turning on and changing at higher frequencies.
Exactly. That's what's happening. And it's, you know, not only because we're doing the work, a lot of us are, but because there's changes taking place in the great vast universe. So as above, so below. So things start to move, and we know things are moving. There's a shift. There's, you know, things that are happening which are going to affect us, because everything that happens up there happens in here.
And Phoenix says, do you want to know how to do this? I can tell you a secret. The religion hides it from you. I know how.
And we would love for you to share that. And, you know, we've invited you on the show many, many times. You're more than welcome. If you don't want to have your face shown, you could call in, or we could do an audio. Our faces will be shown and yours will just be no camera, just audio. Because I think it's very important. The things that you have to share, we are, you know, totally amazed by your knowledge and your wisdom, and we totally respect.
She says, both two worlds, two gods, two fathers.
Yes.
And, you know, we're thinking Marduk and Enki are those two that masquerade themselves as our father.
Exactly.
You know? And unfortunately, what we're finding out, and what we're going to delve into deeper with Derek on Saturday, so you guys don't want to miss it, is the fact that the message of the Christ could actually be the message of Thoth, which is the message that Enki is resounding with and resonating with, you know, and allowing to capture the hearts and souls of people.
Because basically they want you, one wants to damn you to hell, literally, and the other one wants to make you think that you're going to be ascended. And either place is going to just recycle you back in here. And when we're talking about this final recycle bit, is going to be a singularity. And there's not going to be any way out. So this is the final countdown. This is it, folks. As Jeffrey says, we are the last group of humans. Because if we get into the singularity, we are in big doo-doo.
Yes, we are.
And Sarah says, I don't like to admit, but while I was meditating I was so relaxed. I urinated so that I was not expected. Has that happened to you? Have you urinated yourself? Apparently. That's very, very possible. It's never happened to me. But when you finally allow
I guess it's that
relaxed state, and then you're no longer the reticular formation, which is what controls all certain things in your body, becomes totally relaxed.
Isn't one of the chakras where
the root chakra,
where we actually have that sensation of urination?
Exactly.
Yeah. Good and evil, is that the body? Just wondering.
Good and evil, is that the body?
She said it.
Hey. Friday.
Bill H, they have used technology to separate us from our spiritual selves.
So let me try to dive into good and evil. Is that the body? What do you mean? Is the body good and evil, or is the body?
Is the concept of good and evil relegated to this physical body? Right.
Some sort of way. Because I mean, if we're talking the body of consciousness, which some people like to call the body of Christ, we know that the meat suit is the fall, because everything that we do based on the meat suit creates luring to our senses and doesn't allow us to fully go into our heart space, but it's more of a feeling state that could get us into trouble. So, you know, in this duality, we all have good and evil inside of us while we are in this meat suit and while we are in this realm.
There was one thing I wanted to read from this book that I was looking at. It's called Alien Interview. And apparently it was written, it was like documentation from people that were actually at the Roswell incident back in 1947 and what these entities spoke to them, you know. So they said this: Do not rely on the dogma of physical sciences to master the fundamental forces of creation any more than you would trust the chanted incantations of an incense-burning shaman. The net result of both of these is entrapment and oblivion. Scientists pretend to observe, but they only suppose that they see and call it fact. Like the blind man, a scientist cannot learn to see until he realizes that he is blind.
The facts of earth science do not include the source of creation. They include only the result or byproduct of creation. The facts, quote unquote, of science do not include any memory of the nearly infinite past experience of existence.
The essence of creation and existence cannot be found through the lens of a microscope or telescope or by any other measurement of the physical universe. One cannot comprehend the perfume of a flower or the pain felt by an abandoned lover with meters and calipers.
Everything you'll ever know about the creative force and the ability of a God can be found within you, an immortal spiritual being.
Study of the spirit has been booby-trapped by the thought control operation through religious superstitions that instill in the minds of men. Conversely, the study of the spirit and the mind have been prohibited by science, which eliminates anything that is not measurable in the physical universe. And, you know, that's the bottom line. We are taught to only accept those things that
we could see,
Yeah. You know, science is the religion of matter, and it worships matter. And if it doesn't see it, if it can't put it under a microscope, then it doesn't exist.
The funny thing is, though, now, as of late, science is testing certain things that are capable. They tell us that matter is pretty much holographic, that quantum physics actually exists. Einstein, with his theory of relativity, proved a lot of things. So, but to me, science is also like another type of religion, because it also has its boundaries and its guidelines, and it's trying to tell you what you can and cannot believe, which is the same thing as religion. And there is no boundaries. There is no limit to what our spirit, our divinity can do.
The bottom line is this, though, people, we are infinite beings, okay? And we chose to do this to ourselves.
Exactly.
We are playing a game of hide and seek with our own selves, because in our infiniteness, we know that we could do anything we wanted to do. So we have chosen to come into this existence and allow ourselves to forget who we are, to be subjected to difficulties and pain and circumstances and hunger and all kinds of things in order for us to experience these things and to pretend like we don't know, you know, but.
And like she said,
you know,
the world is a stage, totally. We are actors in that stage.
So, the world is a stage. Where is it? Okay.
Right there.
And then Gail sends us a link for This Is How I Look at Healing Modalities.
We'll have to take a look at that.
We'll have to take a look at that later. You should look at Sovereign Key's series on their goal of the AI false singularity. It is scary stuff.
Yeah, we've seen some stuff and it's like really, really scary. And they push this like it's like the greatest thing ever. And the sad thing is, or the scary thing is, that a lot of people are going to fall for this, because a lot of people are so like computer driven. Bring it on. If I could be like a
superhuman.
Yeah, a superhero. And I mean, it's like
Avengers.
We have been prompted and primed from the time we've been in the institutions called schools, you know, and then prompted with these internet informational highway that have just polluted our minds. And Phoenix says, go into your closet within yourself, meditation, put the B, A, and K together. It makes the key, the Ankh, it opens the door and brings back God. This is done. Men call it the Rouch. So you go into a closet. Let me look at that again. You go into a closet, a meditation, kind of self-meditation, which is your own, and you put the Ba and the Ka together. It makes the key, the Anka. It opens the door. Sounds like something that
the Egyptians did.
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Stephanie says, as you're relaxing down into your groove, you could ask your body to remain aware of its functions. This is to Sarah.
Yeah.
while you've stepped away, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was doing this thing with the Gateway, I don't know what it's called, but the Gateway, which is the CIA system, the CIA system, where it teaches you how to keep your mind alert while you're having your body relax. So you can go into a state of meditation and then connecting your right and your left hemisphere so that you're able to still have your function, but at the same time be relaxed. It's like working a muscle. You know, you've got to, or when you start to learn how to do some yoga, it takes work, it takes time. Things like that are going to happen. I've worked out clients where in the workout, you know, even though it's not a relaxing thing, but as they're working out, they have issues with a bladder and they're doing some abdominal exercise. They have very weak bladder muscles that they have urinated on themselves. So it's all practice, Kegel exercises and things of that nature that'll help you be more in control.
Yeah, I mean, even, I mean, you could even like, if we're talking about energy, when we talk about the energy of sexual, you know, intercourse, that in itself is something that makes the body kind of involuntary too. Right. You know what I mean? So it's not too far to think that these energies that we end up experiencing affect our physical body in a way that makes it so that we feel like we can't control it or that we're away from managing it. Yeah, you know, because consciously we're not there. You know what I mean?
There's actual ways of controlling that. You know, I've known there's certain practices where they teach men how to control so they don't prematurely ejaculate, and then learning, because it's all about energy. So learning through your chakras and while you're having intercourse to be able to hold this and be able to generate a tremendous amount of energy and then bringing back into yourself so that you benefit from that energy versus having that energy stolen from you from these creator gods. That'd be an interesting show to look into, actually.
Yeah, Phoenix says, you have both good and evil in you. Yes. I mean, I think as an infinite being, that is something that we would possess because we have the polarity. I mean, the good and the evil is something that is necessary in order to balance.
And wouldn't we be here to learn how to do that? This is like the test ground to learning how to be able to first get out of here. And first, but before we get out, we have to deal with all our baggage and learn how to balance that yin with the yang, the good with the evil, the female with the male. Learning how to walk through the middle way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like a tightrope, you know, or like when a person is like, you know, those artists that go across on those wires and high altitudes and stuff, like going across like skyscrapers and stuff. And they learn that, you know, if they balance one way, they're falling off. They balance the other way, they're falling off.
So they have to learn how
to lose, not balance if they take their weight one direction. Right. But if they keep it centered, then they can go right through.
And isn't that what we're here to learn how to do?
That's what we're here.
Learn how to balance.
So Sarah says, my sister passed away age 6. She would now be 28. Where do you think she is? I used to think she was at my bedroom door often. Is she energy?
I'm sure she is energy. And it all depends on where she was at on her journey as she lived here, that she could have just passed on to the energy field or had to be brought back to relive it again. And that's where I think when we fall between these systems of following one or the other, we're going to be recycled back here all the time. But until we learn the middle way and learn that we have the power and the ability to walk away from all this and then go into being with the absolute, with the divine, then I'm most likely that she has done that, or we would hope, because there are spirits that linger and they get lost within that ethereal world. They don't go.
They get stuck in the astral plane, right?
Exactly. So let's hope that has not happened, because that's pretty much a state of limbo, you know?
Yeah. Michael Murphy says, thanks, I will investigate. And Sarah, Laurel Weselek
joins us. Hello, Laurel.
What about God-given miracles? Does anyone believe in the God of the Old Testament here?
Well, actually, there is a God of the Old Testament, and it's called the little g. And it's kind of hard to put it all in words, but it's, yeah, it is the God of the Old Testament, but it's a very vengeful God. It's one of the lords, the warlords that has taken over. And if you missed the show in the beginning, I highly recommend that you rewind or look back, and we shared a little bit about who are the gods of this world and the God of the Bible that you're following. And that's not the God that you want to follow. You know, that's definitely not, you know, it's a God that has selfish concerns. And, you know, you're looking at Enki and Marduk, which ones you choose, and those are the older names that were given to them. Isn't Enki also Yahweh?
Either one of those has chosen to reveal themselves as Yahweh at different points.
Right. So, no, we don't believe in that God. We don't worship that God. We believe in the absolute, and we believe the absolute. If you're following a masculine, war-driven God, that's not the God you need to follow. We believe that absolute, the divinity, prime creator of all, has a female energy and is the actual true creator of all.
Now, I did a post, you know, earlier today, and it says, pray to who? Why do that? And I wrote, pray to whom? Jesus? God? This is what got us into this mess in the first place, friends. All of this dependency on some outside entity. If you would do some research on who this God actually is, you may be surprised to find out who he really is. Here's a clue. Go back to Genesis and listen for who called Abram out of Ur of the Chaldees. It was the God who the Sumerians worshipped, and his name was Yahweh. This is the God who eventually became the basis for the three Abrahamic faiths: Judaism, Islam, and the new kid on the block, good old Christianity.
Yahweh wanted Abraham to worship him and him alone. This has nothing to do with the creator, the divine, the source of all things. This little G God wants to make you think that you are made in his image. He is partially telling you the truth too. You are, and his fleshy body is his image, and he does not want you to know the truth, and that is that you are more than his image of you.
You have the spark of divine essence of all things inside of you. All that many of you are doing is just giving your power and sovereignty away. And, you know, that's one of the things that we don't pray here anymore. We don't pray to any deity, entity, any supreme being anymore here on this show. We do manifestation moments, but
meditation moments to empower you
ourselves and incline our spirits and souls to some God, because we are divine. And we do not need to give away our divinity to any, like, basically life-sucking entity that wants to take it away from us.
Exactly. And even, I guess, Jesus, the Christ, told us, why do we marvel at what he does? You too will do greater things than I. The kingdom of heaven is within you. It's within you. The spark of divinity is within you. That's why he got killed, because he was bad for business. You know, he's bad for business. And the business was to be in the business of God, like the churches and the Old Testament and all these belief system that people are following. It's a business, and they want you to give away your power. And we're here to let you know that the divinity is within you. And we're here as a group to problem solve. We're not going to put down your beliefs, because we believe everyone's entitled to believe what they want. We just need to learn how to coexist and grow together as a human family. Instead of worrying about worshiping a God, we need to worry about how we're going to get along as a species when the proverbial shit hits the fan and when bad things start to happen to our planet and to ourselves. Worshiping some God is not going to help us. We need to unite, and we need to make things happen.
Phoenix says, Ba and Ka, heart and soul, and sacrifice yourself to give God life to come back. Look into it, please. And Lindsay says, the God of the Old Testament is not our Father, the creator of all.
That's right, Lindsay. You got that one right.
Phoenix says, no, Bible Testament for me, thanks.
Exactly.
And Michael says, thanks, Phoenix. That's what I am feeling.
Exactly. I mean, we're waking up. We're waking up. We have been duped. We have been lied to. for eons, and you keep repeating the same mistakes. You figure, when are we going to learn? The time is now, folks.
Phoenix says, follow nothing or you go with it. Blind faith, trust in Jesus. Let Jesus do what Jesus does and let the rest go.
Exactly.
Oh, Kid Next.
Hey, Kid Next
Says, hi, all.
Hello.
And Lindsay says, remember that game we played as children, Follow the Leader?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They've been programming us ever since. Follow the
All right.
leader.
Follow the leader.
All right. So let's get going here. Read a few more, and then we're going to go with our, can we reprogram our DNA and heal ourselves with frequency, vibration, and energy? Wow.
You know.
No. The world's a stage. Already passed that one. That's
Okay.
already been passed. That's been passed. No. High
Follow the
on.
leader.
Program.
Oh, there it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
And she says, love you, family.
We
Kid
love you,
Next
Kid
T.
Next T.
And Lindsay says, programming. Yeah.
At its finest. Yep.
Lemmings follow each other off of cliffs.
Exactly.
Phoenix.
Exactly.
Leap of faith, Michael. Bill H. Science is only religion when it is linked up to an agenda.
Exactly.
Okay, next. Phoenix, congrats on your moderator, hon.
Yes.
We let
Yes.
the moderator. I have so much more, but it is bad. Oh,
It's
boy.
okay, but people need to hear the bad.
People need to hear
bad.
the good, bad, and the ugly.
ugly.
Phoenix, we're ready.
Yep.
Michael, good, bad, they are both teachers.
Exactly. I mean, which is our biggest teacher? Pain. Pain is our biggest teacher. And we need to learn, because we've just been playing around too long, being stuck in this materialistic world, listening to our fleshy body, getting ourselves into trouble. The time to awaken us now.
Laurel asks, does anyone believe in Judgment Day? I believe that Judgment Day comes when we judge ourselves.
Exactly.
We judge our own selves.
Yeah.
And at the end of our life, if we believed in some system of religious, thought and stuff, or belief, and we see Jesus.
And who's going to judge us? What, some warlord that has created these laws that nobody can keep? At one point, there was like 233 laws. They condensed it down to 10, the 10 commandments, because he thought humans were too stupid. That was Marduk, to follow these laws.
We're talking about the Hammurabi codes.
Yes.
That came to the Sumerians that were delivered, they said, by the gods from heaven to earth.
Right.
So they gave us all these laws about how to treat each other, how not to kill each other, how to be kind, how to be, how to do this and that, the other, and all of our judges and all of our rules and regulations and things.
And these are things that the native people of this planet, before the Anunnaki messed with us, didn't need any rules, because they knew. It's like you have this cardinal knowledge, or this knowledge that that, hey, this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't have to have a law to tell you what to do or not to do. But when you're engrossed, when your DNA has been messed up, when you have been totally destroyed and all your everything about you has been changed, then of course you're going to need laws. So the key is to heal ourselves, so we return back to our original state, return to oneness. So we don't need these laws anymore. So we don't have to follow these deities that don't have our best interest.
No one has to tell me to not kill somebody. I just have the sense that that's not right. No one has to tell me to love you.
Right.
I just have the sense that I love you.
Exactly.
No
one has to tell me not to eat bad foods, because I know that if I eat something bad for my body, it's going to hurt me. No one has to tell me to stop smoking when I know that smoking is horrible for my health and my lungs don't like it. So when you awaken to this natural inner laws that we have, you automatically don't want to do bad things anymore.
And it's not because you're serving some God who at the end of time is going to judge you for everything you did or didn't do and send you either to heaven or to hell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not what this is about. There is no judgment day. That's just a fear-mongering tactic for people to stay under the control of these archons who are trying to keep us all in these bodies. They don't want us to elevate ourselves and to discover who we really are.
All right, let's start with our program here today, which is how do we reprogram our DNA? As though to conform the hunch many of us had of our junk DNA was anything but disposable, researchers from the Gene and Stem Cell Therapy program at Sydney Centenary Institute have proven that 97% of our human DNA programs or encodes proteins in our bodies. One of the researchers involved in the study said, this discovery, evolving what was previously referred to as junk, opens up a new level of gene expression and control.
This also means there are multiple modalities that mainstream science has yet to give a nod to, which might retrain or reprogram our DNA. Even cells which have become cancerous or are mutilated by the onslaught of toxins in our environment and negative emotional baggage, which has been proven to have an undesirable impact on health. Many people have compared human DNA to the internet.
Go figure. It communicates immense amounts of information in microscopically small but significant ways, mimicking a vast network of information portals, not unlike the billions of websites connected to one another all over the world. It may account for our intuition, spontaneous healing, and a number of other phenomena that mainstream science is just beginning to understand.
Chaos theory and DNA. Chaos theory states that chaotic appearances are just a very complex system affected by very subtle changes in an almost infinite array of varying possibilities.
When you consider that humans have 3 billion base pairs of DNA, most of which are identical, but that there are at least 3 billion raised to the 4th power, 4 raised to 3 billion of opposition or positions possible, a number larger than the number of particles in the universe, you might just call DNA a highly organized but extremely complex system, seeming chaos.
Is it not possible that such a complex system can be affected by very subtle shifts of light or sound, even the human voice? The DNA spectrum making music with biology. There are numerous scientists, not to mention thousands of years of spiritual adepts who claim light and sound alter our DNA and directly influence our biology. And one of the things that reminds me of is when in the story in the Bible where David goes to calm King Saul down by playing on his harp, I think it was, I guess, I'm not sure. And basically it says the spirits left him. So it's almost like a frequency changed in him, right?
Yeah, when you look at water, when they play loud music, when they play music like rap music and all that stuff, what happens to the molecule component of that water? The atomic changes. You know, when you go to a Buddhist monk and they chant, what do you think is happening to our system, our DNA, you know, vibration? We are creator gods and we create through vibration. That's how the little G's have created everything, through sound, through vibration. So DNA is a type of language, albeit a complex one. Computer simulations and purely biological approach to understand the language have failed, however, in the same way that language fails to describe ascended states. As we talked about earlier, science can't really, you know, measure a lot of this stuff.
Mainstream science will tell us that while DNA involves construction rules that affect different sequences, the dictionary of DNA does not follow Zipf's law, which every other natural language follows.
So even though DNA has structure, it is not a language. I hardly disagree. If you have ever watched a musician who was skilled in playing his or her instrument technically to absolute perfection, but somehow lost the emotional language, which is necessary to convey an ovation-inspired performance, then you understand that stringing together a perfect phrase or sequence of notes do not account for an entirely separate and subtle language that speaks to the human heart and the mind.
That reminds me, when I used to do, I used to cover figure skating for ABC Sports, and you could tell there were some skaters who were in touch with their artistic ability and interpreting the actual performance in a seemingly cohesive manner. And those that did, like the Michelle Kwans and others that were able to capture people and capture their hearts through this very athletic movement, but yet artistic like interpretation of something that was almost like ethereal, because they translated themselves from the ice and into your heart. It was amazing.
And that was with the music, because as people hear the music and the movement,
the body, the movement of the body, and how it flows in space and time and stuff, and that people were just captured by that, and that they just like threw all kinds of teddy bears out on the ice, and they were just like in tears.
That's what they use. That's what the Illuminati used Hollywood to bring all this emotion out of us, to control us, to harvest our energy. They feed off of it. And let's go with some of the comments here. Sarah says, so did I leave my body? I would say that you would know if you would have left your body, because there is definitely, when you actually leave your body, the accounts that I have seen people demonstrate is that they see themselves. And it all depends. Some people go into the astral space, and some people just kind of stay lingering in the area because it's freaky, it's scary. So I think you would have known. What I think would happen to you is that you did connect some chakras, and you did feel some energy source flowing through your body. And Phoenix says,
you were to step away from the church of sin and God would let you in. More than one God here. Look into it.
Definitely.
And Tina says,
hi, Tina.
Hi, Tina. Kind of what new mothers do when we first have baby home. We sleep, but our mind is still very alert to sounds and such.
Yes, yes. Because you don't really get to a deep REM stage because you're in alert. You know, mama bear's alert, making sure baby's okay.
Well, we know Laurel has a certain way of looking at things, and we hope that you find whatever it is that, you know, your truth might end up being. Right. But, you know, we're obviously on a different path than you, and we respect your journey. We really do.
But we would hope that you respect the journey of others that are on this channel who are trying to grow and who may not follow the belief that you're saying that there is only one true God. Now, that in a sense, you know, there is a prime creator, but within that prime creator, there's fragments. And that's why all these little G's have had their way with us, because we are dumbed down to our potential. So we are all connected to the absolute, to the divine, to the energy source of all, which has no name, because to put a name to that almighty is very disrespectful.
It is,
in my opinion. So,
and it's not human.
Yeah.
It's not anything that has any human characteristics. It is just the source of all living things and unseen and seen things alike.
Right.
And it basically is a nucleus of creative energy. And we are basically its tentacles of being able to reproduce itself inside of the creative process.
Yes,
you know?
And she's in everything. She's in the flowers, she's in the trees, she's in the mountains, she's in us, she's in the air. She embodies everything.
So you can worship if you choose to, but I know better. Yeah. And I have come through years of indoctrination as a fundamental, Bible-believing, spirit-filled Christian. And I'm here to tell you that that leads to nowhere but the same thing over and over. Phoenix says, it takes its church out of their beds at night and the sinners die here. Look into the rooster. And Laurel says,
playing with your chakras is dangerous. What happens when you wake the Kundalini spirit?
Oh,
okay. Why is it dangerous? Because Christians told you it was dangerous? Because they don't want you to find your divinity, because they want you to continue to tithe every Sunday and be a slave to this Godhead business. It's a big business. You know, there's a lot of money to be made in the God business. So they don't want you to go wandering out and finding your divinity. So they're going to scare you like the government has scared you with communism. The government has scared you with terrorism. The government has scared you with all sorts of stuff, because you know what the government means? Governmente, mind control. The church is part of the mind control. They don't want you to free yourself, Laurel. Free yourself. Understand that you have divinity within you. You do not have to be a slave any longer. You have the capabilities of freeing yourself.
Phoenix says, Judgment Day, when 3 books are read, have you been good? God is unknowable, but there are others. Which one did you choose? And then Laurel says, No, I am a sinner, but I am washed in the blood of Jesus Christ.
Really, you are a sinner and you're washed in the blood of Jesus. Look at how that sounds. It's like a programming that they've taught you from the time you were little. Who needs to wash themselves with any blood to clean themselves? Blood's going to make you dirty. Blood is going to alter your DNA. It's going to mess you up to continue to be a slave forever and ever. Amen. And again, you know, I don't want to tell you what to believe. If that's what you believe and that makes you happy, Laura, then all power to you. That is where you're at in your journey. I guess it'll take you a few more times to come back on. And actually, this is it. There's no more time coming back. So, Laura, I do hope that you really get it and really try to step away. Just put those old beliefs on the side and try to open your mind a little bit and try to see how much sense does that really make. That this peripheral, this like avatar died for you. They want to make you feel guilty. It washed away all your sins. What sins, Laura? What fault was it of yours in this make pretend Adam and Eve story that they created that they messed up? So now you have to pay for their sins forever and ever. And your children, your grandchildren, is that fair? What your father did, is it fair that you get condemned if your father did a crime? No, that's not fair at all.
So Phoenix says, Kundalini, when you put the BA and the KA together, it is forever turned on.
Yeah.
And Laurel says,
God is very knowable. He's our Father, and we would talk to him every day.
That's great.
That's great. That's what you want to believe. More power to you.
Washed in the blood of Christ is a lie. Look into it, please.
Yeah.
Gail says, also longing for ones who have passed can keep them earthbound.
Yes.
Doesn't allow them to progress.
Yes, because it's like they feel that energy and they are totally drawn to that energy. I don't know if you guys ever watched the show Ghost Whisper, and some of the people that their spirit were still hanging around the people they love because they hadn't worked through certain issues and because the person didn't want to let them go. So it's important. I always say to people, put a glass of water. If you feel an entity surrounding you, it could be a family member or somebody that you are close to. If you put a glass of water and you kind of put a manifestation in that water that you're freeing them to go back home.
You're giving them that
permission and tell them that it's okay for them to go back home. And then you take that water after it's been around for a few days and you almost just like you wash it and let it go into the dirt or outside in the grass. So Bill says, you know what sucks is when you realize that you have helped indoctrinate your own kids into the matrix while raising them. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Okay, so let's continue some more here. It is
the technical perfection of the right rhythms and notes paired with heart and passion, which brings us to our feet. Similarly, DNA can be strung together in its typical set of AT or CG, but it is the junk DNA which might decide whether your cells cause you to develop cancer or be gifted with the ability to see clairvoyantly.
Russian linguist Dr. Georg Gadhajev and Vladimir Punin found that DNA does follow similar patterns and rules to human language. But this is not the most interesting information by a long shot. In fact, biologists Dr. David Deemer and Susan Alexander, who holds a master in music, have discovered that DNA makes its own beautiful music before we even try to alter it.
The two measured the actual molecular vibrations of DNA and recorded it using an infrared spectrophotometer. They exposed each section of DNA to infrared light and measured the wavelength it absorbed, and therefore determined its sound frequency. What it made was hauntingly beautiful music. Some of the combinations of frequencies, Alexander said, they are just stunning. It sounds alive to me.
So is this for real? Well, while interesting and inspiring, at least to the imagination, ideas of singing DNA and restructuring DNA with intentional frequency are certainly difficult to find in practical applications and are as of yet lacking legitimate scientific validation. As with Qi, the mapped out essence of life to Chinese medicine, the difficulty in finding verifiable proof and use for these difficulty in finding these theories is something that has earned this line of thinking the title of New Age and pseudoscience, because when science can't verify something, and it has to be fake, right? So we don't see the higher self, so it must not be true. That's the
Can't
way.
be true.
Right.
You can't prove it.
Right.
Science does, however, confirm that sound and light can and do directly influence the body's healing process. Wow. Researchers at the University of Cincinnati have had measurable success in applying high-frequency electrical signals to vascular cells with great effect in healing chronic, persistent wounds like diabetic ulcers.
People don't realize, well, what is chemotherapy and radiation? You know, what is it that that's actually doing? And when they give you an MRI, what is that actually doing? These are all frequency. These are all things that actually are actually working, you know? So it can't all be mumbo jumbo. For decades, the mystery of Royal Rife and his frequency healing machines have been touted by many as the end-all cure for a wide array of diseases, parasites, and bacterial and fungal infection. His discovery suggests that every living organism has its own unique resonant frequency, and that by subjecting the body to electrical currents that target specific pathogens, diseases, and ailments can be neutralized and destroyed without pharmaceuticals or invasive procedures. How did the Christ heal people? It wasn't that he healed them, but through the person believing that they're being healed, and probably both energies being worked together created the healing.
Yeah, he said, your faith has made you whole.
Exactly.
So furthermore, acupuncture, the ancient Chinese system of medicine that works directly with the body's energy conduits and has offered tangible healing benefits to millions over many centuries, has also been recently validated by scientific research.
These examples corroborate, to a degree, the ancient spiritual notion that the human body is enlivened by a subtle energetic system that can be manipulated by the application of sound, light, and intention. For one to understand this on experiential terms, however, it is necessary to cultivate the sensitivity to detect and direct this energy. But for many, this process of cultivation is simply too demanding and too methodological to be assimilated as a habitual part of daily life.
Most people simply do not have the patience in our fast-paced environment to achieve the awareness of this, scientists included. Shamanism meets science. While science is making exciting advances in understanding our quantum universe, the timeless healing modalities of shamanism have, of late, been forcing their way into the popular conversation about healing and spiritual development.
In fact, shamanism may offer us the best example of how the use of sound and directed energy can bring about healing in the body and psyche. In a shamanic healer's toolkit, the most commonly utilized and highly priced agent of healing are often ikairos, which are sacred songs sung by the doctor to the patient to affect health and well-being by enchanting the subtle and unseen spiritual influences that may be gripping the body and psyche. And we've seen documentaries
yeah,
where they're doing the ayahuasca ceremony, and and what do a lot of the natives do?
Yeah.
When they are doing their healing dance and their...
Remember when we were living in Fort Lauderdale, and at the park, Holiday Park, down the street, there was that native guy who was
singing and doing...
And it was beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Beautiful.
Well, that is very healing. Do we want to... Let's see here.
So Phoenix says, the father you talk to is not the father you think. Sorry.
And Bill says, you know what sucks? It's when you...
Well, he said that you read that before.
Okay.
But that's very true, Bill. I mean, will you realize that you helped indoctrinate your own kids? It's crazy, you know, because now you're like, oh, why did I do that?
How do you indoctrinate? Because it's so hard. I mean, look at, was it Laura?
Laurel Wesselek.
So, I mean, it's like they will fight till the end with that, you know, until something happens to trigger a remembering. Because that's what happens. It's not that we learn something new. It's like we remember the truth. And once you have, you know, removed all these veils and clean yourself up of this mock and these lies that have been layer after layer, once you start removing those layers and remember, then you go, oh, wait a minute. But if not, it takes a while for that indoctrination to really go away.
So Phoenix says, over 55 years of trying to figure out why your God and my ways do not match. Gail says, prayer is simply your desires and longings. So we need to be diligent with our thoughts and intentions.
And that's the key, because it is our thoughts and our intentions that create the changes in frequency, that create the changes in matter, and that creates, period. So it's not praying to some guy far, far away. It's about manifesting. It's about bringing that intention, bringing it with feeling and what's the word? Authority, that this is what you want to happen, and it will happen.
She said it, whom says, I don't follow a name or personality. I am the internal. But why? Searcher.
Yep, totally. And Phoenix says, Bill, you did. So turn your back on the church or vipers and follow the word.
And Tina writes, Bill H., I hear you, brother. I have one in a Christian school. The other I homeschool, so now I am trying to unindoctrinate them.
And it's like, damn, what were we thinking?
It's so hard.
It is. It is.
So
like I said, until some spark triggers the memory to let us know that, whoa, wait, the stuff that I'm learning is just mumbo jumbo, you know? Say, True Bells, 7 Scorpion, Gemstone, Tina. We're trying to, because
I know it goes back, go back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Phoenix says, I've never prayed.
Yeah.
And she said, it says, we are part of the great multiverse.
Yes. For the right answers for yourself. Exactly. You know. And Phoenix says, you come in alone and you go out alone. That's right. And she says,
we are cells of the whole.
And Gal says,
not worship, but desire a relationship with God while being the most loving being that we can be from one moment to the next.
And, you know, using the word God, you know, when I hear the word God, I hear the word my higher self, because right now we're in our lowest level, but there is a part of us that descended to eventually go back to our godhood. And so that is in another parallel universe or in another dimension guides us. And it's our higher self, which is connected to the divine, because we're all divine and we all have that spark of divinity. So, you know, yes, I agreed with what you said.
Bill H. says, Phoenix, I have turned my back on that. They are adults now, and I've been telling them that we were wrong. Well, my ex wouldn't say that.
And it's hard.
My ex wouldn't say that either.
I know. Phoenix said, it is coming for the light that was stolen. The light is in you, so be good. That's right.
And Laura wants us all to know that we need to get saved today.
Saved from what?
And Judgment Day will come, and we all will have to answer.
Yes. You're going to have to answer to yourself. And when you remove the veil, you're going to tell yourself, gosh, I was really...
Why did I?
Why? Yeah.
But you know, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll just live and have that truth for yourself.
Yeah, that's fine.
No one is saved until we walk in the fire. Laurel, you are saved when you're washed in the blood of Jesus.
Laura, you're welcome to be here. But
please don't proselytize here.
We're not. This is not a Christian network. If you like to go where people like to follow that, you're more than welcome to do so. If you want to stay here and learn and open your mind and allow your heart to understand that your heart's not wicked, you're not a sinner, you have divinity within you, then you're more than welcome to stay here. But we're not looking to be converted. A lot of us have been down that road and we've left it because we found it to be very destructive.
And actually, what you're doing right now, it just reconfirms the fact that we absolutely do not want anything to do with that.
Any part of that.
Just by your attitude right now that you're demonstrating to us and being like loud and obnoxious and unruly by interjecting your truths and telling us that we need to be washed in the blood of Jesus. Like I grew up hearing.
Yeah, we don't need to hear that because we're trying to empower ourselves. And if you're just here to be a troll and to be disrespectful and disruptive, then we will kick you out.
Yeah.
So that is your warning.
Tina says, Laurel, why did Christ say to pick up your own cross? And she said, it says, why would anyone want you washed in their blood?
I know. Only some bloodthirsty god that, you know, an archon, a Anunnaki, a little g that gets off on your suffering. That's it. Laura, it's time for you to let go of these old beliefs. It's time for you to open up your mind and your heart. It's time for you to free yourself. Free yourself, Laura.
I seriously love you guys, Lindsay. Brown says.
Phoenix goes, Tina, your cross is inside of you. So pick it up your own before this gets here, or be good. I love when Phoenix say that. Be good. We're always good. We always try to look into it. Love you so much, Phoenix.
Lindsay says, heaven and hell are a state of being or consciousness. We create what we choose to abide in.
Exactly. And Tina says, Phoenix, I know where my cross is. I was asking Laura because she doesn't seem to know.
She doesn't.
No.
She thinks it's on a cross.
I know. Well, it's like you've got to feel sorry for individuals like that because they've been, it's abuse, mental abuse. They have a form of PTSD, literally. You know, it's like going to war and thinking that you're going to get blown because you saw the guy next to you get blown in bits and you have nightmares about it and you're scared
and you know what?
And you live in fear.
Yeah.
Christians and people that have that type of belief, the Catholics, whatever, Baptists and all, you guys have PTSD. You need help.
Look, here's the deal, though. We only live in the now. We don't live in what Jesus did 2,000 years ago on the cross. Yeah. We don't live in the future coming of Judgment Day.
Yeah.
We live in the now.
That's all we got.
This is all we have.
That's reality.
That's what makes us infinite divine creatures, is that we live in the now. And all of this stuff around us is a perception. It's not even real.
Nope.
You know, what we have that's real is our existence in this moment, in this very second, like every moment, you know.
Did that in unison. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
No, heaven and hell are real. That's right. And Phoenix says, Tina, sorry. Bill H.
Jeff Doherty said that Jimmy Swaggart told him the easiest way to get someone to do something is to tell them they aren't supposed to do it.
Exactly.
You know,
it's a fear-driven mentality. You know, that's how they cultivate you. That's how AA brainwashes everybody. You can't ever drink again. And I'm not saying drinking because drinking is terrible for you. But, you know, it's like, it's abuse. It's mental abuse.
Bill, I went to Jimmy Swaggart Bible College and I met Mr. Swaggart. And wow, the stories I could tell you, it's ridiculous. These people who, you know, they have these big ministries and, you know, it's usually their name and the front title of it. And they think that they are the only person who can do God's will and God has mandated them. You know, it's like, it's all about ego, you know, it's really all about ego. They just have to have their ego satiated. And, you know, it's like, you know, you just said, the easiest way to get someone to do something is to tell them that they're not supposed to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. You know, that's what, you know, that's what they're building their whole faith on, is just to say, they stick their finger out and they go, and you sinner with the can of beer in your hand, put it down in Jesus' name. And,
that's all they got.
In the meanwhile, Mr. Swaggart is having sex with a prostitute.
I know.
You know, I was there. 1991, there was a crusade. My parents took me, and Jimmy Swaggart that Sunday couldn't speak for some reason. He just, I mean, the guilt was eating him alive.
Sure.
So it was the next day that people found out that he was with a prostitute. Wow. So this is just crazy. It's hypocrisy.
So Tina said, Phoenix, no worries, brother. Tina, Phoenix is a female, Native American, beautiful, wonderful soul. Lots of knowledge. And Phoenix says,
7 Scorpion Girls and the Scorpion King sound like a movie. Haha. Look into it if you can find it.
And she says, Tina sounds like a dude, but born female. She's got that beautiful essence of androgyny, which is what I truly believe, that we are all androgynous beings. And when you get these really powerful women, you know, and you guys are going to love a powerful woman we're going to have tomorrow, because I love that.
Oh my God.
I just love to see
She's
women
like posing and doing yoga stuff. She
I mean,
looks
you check out her.
Looks like Xena Warrior Princess.
Yeah, if you look at her at her website that it's on the description for tomorrow's show. You guys are going to love it. She says that Scorpions and I are south and north node.
Okay. The 13 gnome spelling. Phoenix, you have no idea why my mind assumed male. Now that I look at it. LOL, sister.
And she says, no worries. I'm forceful like a dude. My mom and grandfather raised me to be strong for this. And that's a beautiful way to get raised. No, let nobody step on you.
Want you on the show.
Yes.
You know, there is no not knowing.
Exactly.
I haven't done for years, but I have at AT. She said it. And
Damien, hey,
Damien.
Lots of hugs, Damien. Love you, brother. Glad you joined us. Phoenix says, admits it might scare me. Unpredictable. You see them. Totally. And Stephanie said, good day, Damo.
Hi, Lynn and Mark. Ask and it is given, Phoenix says.
Yes.
She said it. Hi, hun. Hi, Damien.
Let's see.
Highs and
human race.
Authority, Bill says, is an illusion. Yes.
And the human race was not to be harmed. Have you been human or a pig? That's right. You know, it's like, look around you. That's when I see these Christians and the blood of Jesus. And I was like, dear God, why is everything blood? We're at war. We've been at war forever. We've always been at war. These archons love blood. They love our suffering. They feed off our energy. We need to stop giving them food.
I've been down so many rabbit holes, says she said at home. I could be a tour guide. We look forward to seeing you
tomorrow, Friday. She's on her Saturday, our Friday. And Phoenix says, time for the rabbits to run. Watch them.
Phoenix says, you can die to this, but you never die. You will come back if you're good. Only vampires bathe in blood and eat bones.
Exactly. That sounds really, you know, Michael Murphy says, I'm starting to realize how close my eyes were. Totally, brother. Yeah. I mean, it's like when you remove that veil and things start to make sense and you're like,
it was just a month ago that Mark and I were saying what we were saying. And we actually visited a church one time and it was like, why are we here? Why? You know? So it's really crazy. We've come a long way in just a month and a half. No, I know.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but still, we were still entertaining it. So Lisa Farmer says, I just came in here to badger Phoenix. Just kidding.
Phoenix says, they were warned right before they hired their second pope. Second popes are against the laws here. Denounce if they won't. Will you? Question mark.
Bill H says, they want you to believe that you were born into sin and are unrighteous like filthy rags, so you won't realize your own divinity, like a parent telling a kid that you'll never amount to anything.
And they're so brainwashed. I mean, you saw what they were doing. It's like, and you know, it's like, it just behooves me. You know, they come in and then they don't even believe what they're believing. So I think they need to say it several times, hear themselves speak to really believe it, because it's like, really? Yeah. He said, this is why your electrons was so crazy. Fall guy had to be put in.
Your election.
Yeah. Oh, election.
Bill H says, awesome, Lena. You pronounce spectrophotometer correctly.
Wow. Yeah, we're kind of behind in the reading. So
I know. Sorry, you guys.
So let's see.
Now they are building the wall on Israel, L of God.
Yes.
And we play cowboys and aliens. They sold their souls in contracts.
Yes.
Chemotherapy is poison,
Totally,
Bill H says.
Totally poison. This is some of the reasons I was taken and held and beaten for 2 days. Sir, a lot is going to do you. Hit me again. Follow it.
Oh my gosh.
Wait.
No, we have to go back.
Oh my God, there's
I know. We get engrossed in your comments. You guys make our show.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Just like
soon the dark sun. Ready?
Yeah.
Easy, Phoenix. LOL. Mama is tired. Spent time with my son today. Got introduced to a dead man today. LOL.
Ooh. Phoenix said, your sun sets and the dark one rises at midnight. The church is taken, chosen. I love her. I mean, it's just like,
I love it.
I know. It's
like the readings of Thoth.
I know.
You know, it's
we should have the Phoenix.
The Phoenix tablets.
I'm telling you. Frequency is key. Totally, Trish. Hey, Trish, thank you for joining us. Bill says, if you knew how Big Pharma develops and approves drugs, oh, yeah, I know. You'd be appalled.
Oh,
I worked over 25 years as a chemist, and I refused to work for Big Pharma.
Bill H., we need you on our show.
And
we
talk
need to talk about
Yeah.
that.
I'm an occupational therapist, and I've been around.
Transition radio.
Yeah, it's crazy. I sat through a course, because you have to do continuing education courses, about how these doctors prescribe these drugs. They don't even communicate with one another. The side effects of the drugs are when they're combined, and these doctors don't even, there's no communication. And of course, the patient just takes the drugs mindlessly. The approval from the FDA from some of this stuff is scary, and they have money to pay off for lawsuits, so they don't care. Vaccines are another things that and of course, that's one of the topics that if you talk about that, you're known as a anti-vaxxer and a conspiracy nut. And that's how they do it. They keep people quiet by shaming people.
Definitely.
Okay, let's keep reading here. In addition, right here.
In addition to Akaros, shaman will also often employ chakapas.
Yes.
Bundled dried leaves, as well as other musical or tuning instruments, which create sounds that are influential to the body's energetic system. And
we're all energy. And we have meridians, and we have dermatomes, and we have proprioceptions, and we have all sorts of stuff in the bodies that control the body. So that's how a shaman healed without all this big pharma stuff and all these surgeries that we see in the modern day medical system. Often coupled with the use of plant medicine, shamanic practice can have powerfully positive effects on the sick. And some scientists are recognizing that the alkaloid-rich medicine ayahuasca may be able to assist in curing cancer. Eduardo Schenberg of the Federal University of Sao Paulo has recently publicized research indicating that the compound DMT and harmine found in ayahuasca have been shown to include the death of some cancer cells and inhibits the proliferation of human carcinoma cells.
While reductionist science is good at isolating molecular reactions, the truth is that any research on the subject of ayahuasca is incomplete without acknowledging the beneficial presence of shamanic healers who are capable of bringing out the highest energetic potential of the effects of any chemical compounds within ayahuasca or any other plant medicine.
Administering the compounds without the concepts of genuine shamanism is hollow and lacks the full picture of the healing potential of shamanic medicine. The primary means in which shaman communicates with the patient is through their icros and other instruments of sound and vibration, which demonstrates their understanding that a significant part of the science of healing is working with vibration and frequency.
I think that's interesting because I look at what we do with our flaxseed, and you can like ingest flax and just pour it on your stuff, but
it ain't going to be activated
unless you crush it and it gets spun around and just opened up all those nutrients. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
So
you have to unleash, certain things. So in conclusion,
while certainly an interesting idea to muse, hard evidence that frequency and vibration can directly affect DNA and the body's healing processes is still forthcoming. However, there is an ample body of experiential human evidence to inspire and warrant further examination of the topic.
This is not an easy theory to prove or disprove, and the answers are unlikely to satisfy everyone. The best that we can see is that truth is relative to personal experience in some ways, and when an individual has spiritual or cosmic experiences that do not fall within the explainable territory of rigid science, they unfortunately are left high and dry by a world paradigm that is stringently adamant of disproving mysticism.
Certainly, this is a complicated and sometimes heated topic, as we do live in a world still dominated by material science that attempts to reduce mysticism and spirituality to anomalies in brain chemistry and personality. Yet at the same time, the human race is coming up against serious plateaus in its understanding of how to interact with the natural world, including our bodies, which means we must be willing to tangentially,
I guess.
There you go.
Yeah.
Explore Thank you, Cuba. Explore the validity of information received through intuitive experiences.
These questions are here to stay until answered, so aren't they worthy of a second look with an open mind to all possibility? And that's what we're all about, open minds to all possibility.
Damien says, Laurel, don't fear information. Just filter it through Christ.
Exactly. There's no need to, then to tell everybody that they're wrong and that you have to follow the blood-driven Christ and all that stuff. I mean, come on now. Just the bad, so be good. Do not be the problem. You see the problems here? End of USA, Babylon, and the ISMS. Look into it.
Look into it.
You should write a book. Look into it.
Roman control is over. That is their God. Damien says, blood equals life force.
And Roman control. Oh, okay, you already read that. Love you too. We adore you.
And a big thumbs up from Michael.
Yes.
Wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove.
That's right. Wolf, love your mind.
We love
your
mind.
Yes.
Yours too. Can I be honest here?
Lisa yes, Lisa. Asks. Please, always. Honesty.
Please don't be dishonest.
Yes, we like honesty.
Keep your temple clean because God is in you. This is how God knows everything you do.
We are. And how you find, huh?
I love y'all. Wish I could hang, still twerking. Oops, I mean working.
Working! All right. And Phoenix says, I love hot women. They're fine art.
Well.
That's right. Hot women are fine art.
Fine art. Trying to be on the low.
Okay.
Low. But I am an artist, raised by an artist, Phoenix says.
Christians are chosen. Let them go.
Whoa. That's a big one. Christians are chosen. They have a job to do.
Yeah.
Just like Judas, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you got a thing to do. You got to do your thing.
Yeah. They're part of, way back when I said this is all a stage and we are each actors on it and we are playing a role. Some of us play the role of the good guy. Some of us play the role of the bad guy. Some of us have certain jobs to do. Christians are doing their job. What's this bug doing? They're doing their job. And their job is to do what they do. And y'all know what you're doing. But we love you anyway. It doesn't matter because it's all about love. And we're all connected. And I know, it's like little lost brother sometimes just goes and does, or sister. They do their thing. But you still love them. When they come back and they're ready, it's like, come back, we'll love you. And, one big happy family.
Okay, so here's what Lisa says. I don't completely agree with everything that's said in here. Nor do I understand everything that is spoken in here. But I've tried to listen to Jeff Doherty. I can't. I just simply can't. The church made it hard, Phoenix says. It isn't that hard. Lisa says, I'm sure he's a nice guy and all, but I just can't go there. No, it's hard to explain.
Let me ask you, Lisa, go within your heart, okay? Because obviously you're searching, or you wouldn't be looking through Jeffrey, or you wouldn't be coming here to our channel, and we love that you're here, and we love that playful heart, that inquisitive heart, that childish heart that we have, wants to know and wants to grow and learn. If you ask yourself, why am I fearful? Why am I so not allowing myself to remove the veil and really let these words speak to me without fear? Because if you put fear into the words that Jeffrey, or the words that Lena and I, or the words that all of our family here are saying, then it's going to be hard for you to really ingest and to understand it. So my question to you is, why do you fear it? Why do you allow old programming to run your life in your heart?
And if you're not ready for this kind of thing, or if you just reject it, that's fine. This is your journey, and we don't judge you for your journey. You have your own, things to deal with, life situations. God only knows. For me, see, I still use these terms, right? Because I was raised a Christian, and it's going to take a while to get the Christianese out of me.
Yeah.
But, heaven, no. See,
it's programmed.
It's programming. And
it's like in there deep.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But, we don't know just what it is that, that we have been under, this enslavement, this indoctrination. And, when you are able to free yourself from those lower feelings that reside in that lower chakra, that judgment, that fear, that control, that's where they want to keep you. That's where Christianity bases itself in that lower chakra energy that wants to keep you bound.
Mm-hmm.
And, even the burning of hell is that red burning chakra color. It's like judgment, fear, control, death, destruction. If you don't do it, judgment day is upon you. And, everybody's got their own journey, but I encourage you to stick around and, listen if you want to. And if you want to go, then we wish you well, So Lisa asked God for the answer. It is given in small ways. Look for it.
The land is Egyptian.
I don't need the answer to that one. I feel it to my very core.
And a lot of us, you were that way at one point. It's because it's not even your own core that you're feeling it. It's really the programming. Really ask yourself, is this mine or is this something that belonged to someone else that put it there? And if you really are honest with yourself, then,
She said, I had never heard of shamans before until very recently. And,
they've been around way before Jesus. They've been around way before Christians. They've been around way before any of this organized religion. And, we've got to think about that one. We've got to think about the teachings that were around way before Christianity, before the whole religion thing became a business. So why were they around way before all this stuff? Why wasn't that information known back then? You got to think of these things.
We have a shaman that actually participates in our show. She's a moderator, and her name is Phoenix I Am. If you have any questions, I'm sure that this wise old shaman can share with you her lived experience. She says she walks in two worlds.
Yeah. And that's what they do, because to become a shaman, you have to go in the underworld. You have to be sick. You can't be a shaman unless you've had the need for healing, because then you go into that underworld. And then when you come up, Phoenix arising, that's why Phoenix I Am, because it's like they go down into the depth. They're the ones that, and back in the day, they would experiment with whatever herbs, and some of them got very sick. Some of them was near to death, and they rose from it, and they learned from the plant that they were taking, and they became who they are because of that. They've walked the walk and talked the talk. Gail says, God is the simplest way to say mother, father, creator. The word God triggers responses in those who will have an emotion within to be released. It's a gift.
I don't really find myself being comforted by the words God, because God to me means that I am subjected under his or their authority. And
God to me is like a box, something that has been placed in a box. Here's your God. When you put the creator of all, the infinite, the absolute, the divine in a box and give it a name or a title, in my opinion, is being disrespectful, because how does our feeble mind, how can we even do that when it's, that's why the absolute, the source of all, the great I am, God to me is like the Lord, which to me means little g, which means lower density deities that have taken over our world. That's what I hear when I hear the word God. But, everyone's entitled to how they want to use it, and we respect you and honor you. And yeah, totally. So I use the word God because most understand it this way. Yeah. And that is true. Most people, you're going to try to get people to hear something. A lot of people haven't heard the word source or the universe or whatever. So God, but we get what you're saying, Phoenix.
They were made by a God, Phoenix I Am says, not created
or begotten. Yeah. So Lisa said, well, thanks for allowing me to be. Most people avoid me like the plague. My words often, most people offend most people. I don't mean to. That is not my intention. I just started learning not too long ago. And you're welcome here, very welcome here. And there's no problem as long as you don't do what's her name? I forgot the other.
Laura Westland.
Yeah. You're going to burn in hell. I hate that. In the lake of fire. And it's like, really? All that, that kind of, I think that pushes people away, you know, instead of bringing them people into some sort of belief, you know, and again, we may not all agree on the labels, and we're going to call this Peter and this Paul, and we may not agree on labels, but at least we know we're talking about some divine, wonderful essence that, you know, we're part of. And we may not understand it completely, and we may not understand all the players and the play and the roles that they're playing, but we're trying to work it out. We're trying to understand one another, and that's a beautiful thing. Go ahead. Sarah B says, hi, just had a mini meditation. Wow, that was good. I feel like I've slept for a long time. I also had a feeling of a need to run away from my town. Well, if you live in the cities and with the way things are, then I would understand that feeling. And that was awesome. They were on the show. They had a mini meditation and came back.
Yeah.
You're getting to be good at this.
Yeah.
We're going to have you on the show and teach people how to do that. Seriously.
Lisa says, I'm not fearful of him, not a bit.
That's good.
And Phoenix says, you can float when you're meditating, have fun, let go, fly, then come back.
Yeah. That's really awesome. Lisa said, there's no fear there. It makes me feel ill, I guess you could say. Because what happens when you start feeling that nausea and feeling, when you're awakening to truth, and there's a part of you that's fighting the truth because the programming is so hard and so deep. So when you're like learning new things, and it's like when you get a new pair of glasses, perfect example. Okay, I've been wearing glasses since I was 1 year old. And every time I have to get a new prescription, which was usually every year, every couple of years, you put on your new pair of glasses and you can't see because you see too good, right? And everything's like nauseating, and then you're like, everything looks big, and you're driving and the signs are like, and you're like, oh my God. It's because new vision, new realities, new truths that are putting the old beliefs in the side. Hasn't that ever happened to you when you got new glasses?
No.
Like with me, I mean, I'm sure other people, because I have blinder than a bat. I've been wearing glasses since I was 1 year old. Bad. But anyway, so Phoenix says, Jeffrey, I watched him, Lost He Needs to Live, and what the preacher's about. He is a nice person. Yeah, he is. Trying to get him on the show. So if anyone knows him, kind of push him our way, you know. He said he'll think about it.
Lisa says, I'm not judging him. I just don't go where the feeling is off.
I think he's got a really good heart. You know, you actually found him, and then we found Derek through him, and you know, the guy's, you know.
Sarah B says, do you guys have a dream guest for your show, dead or alive?
What does that mean?
Dead or alive? Do we have a dream guest? Would we want somebody to be our dream guest? What we would want.
Yeah.
Who?
Oh, if we would have a dream guest, who would we want?
Yeah.
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive.
The Christ himself, so he could tell us. I don't know. Gosh, everybody that's on our show we consider very valuable. Is there anybody in particular that we love to engage with people, and like yesterday with Gerald, like I said, I love his beautiful mind and his beautiful soul, and seeing people just give themselves completely, you know, their knowledge, their wisdom, their heart, and exchanging that beautiful dance, which is what we love to do. You know, it's gosh, that's what we're here to do. Love one another, exchange our views, our opinions respectfully and lovingly.
Okay.
All right. So say no to antidepressants. Okay. This is one of those things that many people are on this day and age. I mean, antidepressants are probably 50 years old, if that, you know, and, you know, to me, they're more harmful than good. There are people that think that they can't live without them. There are people that think that they've been healed by them. And funny enough, a lot of times when people take any medication, it's more of the sugar pill placebo effect. It is you that's healing yourself, not the drug that you're taking. So this is an interesting article written by a doctor, okay? And, you know, we'll see what you guys think after we read it. Say no to antidepressants. I wrote this blog. This is the doctor who wrote the blog for the many women who tell me that they feel pressure to take meds. They feel pathologized by the diagnosis like Scarlet Letter D, their new name. They come to me because they know I will work with them to make real changes that are at the heart of their symptoms.
but they still have loved ones who don't understand. So here's my list of the top reasons, logical, intelligent, evidence-based, to say no to antidepressants.
Easy does it. As physicians, we take an oath. First, do no harm. But then we get lured by the seeming simplicity of a one pill for one ill model. In fact, it makes no sense to take powerful psychiatric drugs as a first-line treatment. In fact, I go further and say that it is irresponsible.
There's a peer-reviewed research that implicates lifestyle choices in depression and upholds medical meditation and other powerful mind-body techniques as more effective than drugs. More women are saying that they'd rather start by taking a hard look at diet, nutrition status, and their personal care regimen.
Which I am totally for. So how about devoting 1 month to a lifestyle overhaul and take it as seriously as others might take a doctor's order, because you're worth it.
Pharmaceuticals are dangerous. Drugs are potent and dangerous. And there's no doubt that Americans are taking too many of them. It's called iatrogenic drug dependence. And it definitely includes psychotropic medication.
Don't roll your eyes. I'm not talking about some kind of conspiracy in which malevolent people sit in a room and plot to harm people. I'm talking about the way the world works. It's an alignment of politics, profits, and incentives.
We have a system that richly rewards people who prioritize commercial applications for drug research. Simple solutions that can't be patented won't get the time of day.
New drugs are fast-tracked through the approval process too quickly, and risks are ignored, short and long term.
A lot of what we need to know about these medications is locked in a drug company's file drawer cabinet. What's been unearthed by those file drawer studies is that psychiatric meds result in worse long-term outcomes than no treatment at all.
And that's where the key word is. These drugs are created for maybe, the initial line of psychosis to try it, if you're really, really in bad shape. Because if you're not, then you should try the natural approach. But when you're on these medications long-term, that's where the problem lies. If you're not signing up to be reflexively medicated as a cog in the pharmaceutical wheel, that's smart medicine. How can a happy pill be so miserable? Well, there's not a lot of happiness coming from these pills. Take a few minutes to scan the side effects of commonly prescribed antidepressants, and you may have trouble lifting your jaw off the ground. The following are acknowledged and documented reactions to antidepressant medication.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yep.
Common side effects include agitation, shakiness, anxiety, flu-like symptoms, ingestion and stomach aches, diarrhea, or constipation.
Loss of appetite, dizziness, disorientation, confusion, insomnia or sleepiness, headaches, low sex drive and erectile dysfunction, difficulties achieving orgasm.
Weight gain, excessive sweating, heart rhythm problems, muscle twitching or pain, shivering.
Patients are almost always told to hang in there because the above problems generally improve with time. And if they don't resolve, doctors start tweaking. They'll adjust the dose or add a second and a third medication.
What they typically won't tell you is that things can go very, very badly. There are other much more severe reactions that include suicidal thoughts, a desire to harm self or others, seizures, and psychosis.
And here you are giving a pill to somebody who's already possibly suicidal, so they have more suicidal thoughts, more seizures, and psychosis. The scary part is that we don't know how to predict if you may be one of these cases. It is literally Russian roulette, sometimes in as little as 1 to 2 doses.
If you're wondering how this is possible, I'm right there with you. Part of the challenge of working with women who take meds for any reason is that I am unable to distinguish between symptoms and side effects. It becomes a tangled web of bodily imbalance.
They're worse than ineffective. Being a good patient, quote unquote, may make you a patient for life. Consider these research findings, which I outline in a mind of your own. There is no validated science that supports a neurochemical explanation for mental illness, including depression. When a lot of people think like, oh, this is chemical. There is no validated science that supports this.
The placebo effect, as Mark had said earlier, a complex physiologic process based on our beliefs about treatment is responsible for what we think is helping about these meds.
Medications acting on these chemical systems forced the body to adapt.
These adaptations are likely responsible for the inferior long-term health outcomes of the medicated versus the unmedicated who presented with the same symptoms.
It's quite possible that these drugs fail over time because they induce compensatory adaptations that end up creating the opposite of what the medication originally intended. And this is worsening of the illness may not be reversible even after stopping the medication. And this goes for any and every medication you take. It's called diminishing returns. What goes up must come down. Your body then gets adapted. You need higher doses. And then instead of helping you, it starts to really harm you. And this with anything that you take.
In other words, attempting to medicate away your symptoms may not help at all, make you sicker, engender new diagnosis requiring more treatment, which produces additional unintended side effects and rob you of the opportunity to understand why you were symptomatic in the first place.
There simply isn't a good case to be made for their effectiveness. In fact, there is no case. It's what leads patients to my door because they are asking, isn't there a better way?
Ever try to stop? Here's another dirty little secret in psychiatry. Starting meds is easy. Stopping? Not so much. It's like riding in a hot air balloon. Going up was a piece of cake, but it doesn't occur to most people that the trip down can be a very bumpy ride.
Patients are told that reduction schedules vary based on the drug, the dose, and the duration, and previous symptoms. It sounds scientific enough, but the truth is that coming off antidepressant can be a horror show.
Most people don't understand that these drugs are habit forming, so withdrawal can be excruciating and feel intensely shameful. Add to the med mayhem that many doctors aren't taught how to taper, and the available guidance isn't very helpful.
The Harvard Medical School says there are no hard and fast rules for getting off antidepressants. Some can taper off in a matter of weeks, while others may take months. I would even add years to the statement. What this should tell you is A, they don't really know, and B, it might not be so well.
Numbed to life? When life deals you some tough news, realize that you are having a human experience. You are meant to work through it. What you're not meant to do is to suppress your consciousness and anesthetize your mind.
Are you sure that you want to pathologize your pain with labels and diagnoses and take pills to suppress consciousness? That's precisely what antidepressants do. Imagine feeling nothing, no sadness, no happiness, no pain, no anger, no love. There's something worse than feeling bad, and that's saying no to what life has brought to your path. There was a movie called Equilibrium, and that's what they would do. They would inject people. It's like 1984, so they would feel nothing.
Right.
No humanness. And what makes us who we are, our ups and our downs, is our humanness.
You can choose a different narrative. You're not broken. You are intelligent. Life is intelligent and purposeful. And we forget that growth and evolution comes through suffering.
In fact, when my patients heal off meds, all sorts of wild things happen. They adopt babies, get divorced, move to Europe, things that were sitting dormant needing expression.
Humans have evolved over millennia to interact with our environment with deep wisdom. There's a good reason why you're feeling bad, and you deserve the time and support to figure it out.
Antidepressants don't work the way you think they do. They are tempting fairy tales, a miracle in a capsule that will magically transport you back to yourself. But there isn't a single study, not a single one, that supports this myth. That it's possible for the mind to be effectively rewired by a one-size-fits-all synthetic chemical concoction. And in views of their risk, you deserve to try every single safer alternative first. It's time to empower yourself and a mind of your own. And it's the same thing that we tell people with spirituality. Time to empower yourself. Let's see what we got.
Phoenix says, crazy Rex. She loves Rex.
I love him.
Love his energy.
Yes. Trying to get him on the show too. So we'll see.
Lisa's Phoenix of Fire last time.
And Lisa said, when I say feeling, it's beyond the six senses or so many levels.
Phoenix, 4 X's with 7 X's between 777, completion of man, all of you. Phoenix, hell is for sinners, it is real. Enoch, please, they took this out also.
And Phoenix says, Moses did not write the words, he stole them.
And Lisa says, I won't ever tell you that, LOL. Sarah, oops. I love it when it does that. Sarah says, I hope it's meditation. I feel like I'm sinking, falling, and floating around blue light. Always blue, not red at least.
Blue is good. Blue is good. Not to worry. My stomach has a strange feeling at the beginning. Again, that's when new information, new pathways are being created. You know, it's what, you know, the stomach does. It creates the acids and all that stuff that's going on. Now let go. God has you. Learn.
Do not eat before you meditate. Yeah. Fast first.
Yeah. That could be the problem too. Alan Watts would be incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, but he's dead.
Yeah, but she said living or dead.
Okay.
I can send you a site that would deliver you that guest. What?
Which guest?
I don't know. Gail. Who?
Who?
Jesus? Ellen Watts? Phoenix, I am the Pope. Then ask him why they hide the way out from everyone.
Phoenix
because they do.
Yes. Ask the Jews about the sun, the dragon, and the goddess.
The way out. No pills.
No pills. Lisa says, Phoenix, I just recently started learning myself. LOL. I don't know anything about the stuff.
Sarah Bees, I heard a gender studies teacher in Oklahoma was caught teaching that pedophilia is a religious behavior that will be normal by 2045. Creepy stuff.
Yeah, and if this whole trans agenda keeps going the way it goes, you know.
P's going to be added.
Yep, that's crazy stuff. Phoenix says, when the master left us, he said, be good and take care of each other. He left no religion. That is true.
The church and men that run your countries run the pedophilic ring here. Watch them pay for everything.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Creepy stuff. Might be wrong. No, I don't think you're wrong.
No.
You know what? The pedophilic ring.
It's very, we knew somebody was going to come on the show, but they backed away. They probably got either threatened or something, but Jehovah's Witnesses have a very big pedophilic ring, and it's well known, you know? So I wouldn't put past even Christianity, even the government. I mean, it's crazy stuff.
You know, it's not too far to think that it's possible because, you know, churches, you know, have youth groups and youth pastors. And I remember in my church growing up that we had this really great youth pastor who had graduated. He was like the new thing. And it was only like 2 or 3 years where he ended up like going to bed with all of the teens and stuff. It's like, it's rampant in the church. You know,
is.
If pornography is 70% of a problem in the church, you know, then you got to think that this whole pedophilia thing is big. You know, Catholics and everything. You know, we obviously know what happened to them.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Phoenix says, I tell everyone to step away from both or go with them. One or the other will take you. No choice. But to be good, be human, and have a home.
So it sounds like she's talking about the same Marduk and the other one of the will take you home, but you know, you really to their home, not to the home that we really want to go to. The book was brought there, and he was and we natives have our own God, and she sends the fire. Follow what you want. Egyptian here, not Moses people. Yep.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. Israel was a name for God's daughter, not a land over there. You are building that wall now on her land.
Lisa says, love the first part of the sentence.
This is how close you are. Israel is real, says Lisa. Phoenix, your government knew they would run here. We told them. We staged Wounded Knee. We sent that documentation to God, and they lied to you. 13 colonies on the other side of the Mississippi. This is war.
Gail says they could send to the Christ.
Israel is God's daughter, the bat.
Quo.
No war, Phoenix. She is the sister of the divine twins. She is Jesus, and she returns God.
The war between the sons and our God.
I do not have war within me. Our land, they are not to be here. The master told us what to do. They did this to you.
And Sarah says, I decided to not have kids as I despise the world and evil in it. It terrifies me. I hear you. It's like, I don't know what kind of future, if there is even a future.
Our local priest was caught 4 years ago playing with himself in a shopping center, so was outed by the town. The church kept him and he was replaced.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. All right, our trans corner. Brave New World. Gay man impregnates transgender partner who identifies as male. Before I share this article, and the only reason I'm bringing this article, because I want the views of our audience, friends, and family. If you are going to go and claim that you're born in the wrong body and claim that you despise everything that has to do with being female, and you go on testosterone, you go and remove your breasts, why in the world would you want to carry a baby? When carrying a baby, there's nothing that spells more woman than carrying babies.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know, nothing more than that. So I'm going to go ahead and share what this individual looks like as we read. Well, this is the boyfriend right there. Right here is proud mama, papa.
Mama beard.
Mama
beard.
Yes, and there's daddy, and they live in their, I guess, it's like a bus, you know. That's one picture. I have to do this to get the other one in. Okay, boom, 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 share. And there's the other picture. Okay. I personally just don't find this to be anything helpful for anyone. Number one, how confused is that child going to be? You know?
Even then, even right now.
Yeah, even being carried, because I'm sure that this trans individual is having, you know, issues with dealing with the body that they are having to undergo to have a baby, and the feelings that they must be feeling, because, you know, it's supposed to be a time where you're totally immersed in this relationship with a child that's growing inside your womb, and to like try to tell yourself that you are a man, but yet you're carrying a baby. Yeah. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, you're claiming you're born in the wrong body. So it totally, like, it's like the most confusing thing ever.
It's like if you don't want to be a woman, why would you do the most womanly thing that you could do to your body?
Exactly. So
then call yourself a man while doing it.
So does that let you believe that people really have gender dysphoria? That they're really, truthfully being honest about why they're transitioning? Because I'm sorry, if you're dysphoric about your body, the ultimate dysphoria would come by doing
the most womanly thing to your body.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
to put yourself in a 9-month process of creating life.
So
that only females do.
People have to really understand how truthful are trans people. The same thing goes for those individuals that transition late in life. They've lived 30, 40, 50 years, 60 years as a gender they were born as. And all of a sudden, if they don't transition, they're going to die. So how did you live for 50 years? How did you manage to live for 50 years before dying, before this whole thing came up? So that's another, is it really gender dysphoria? Anyway, Stephen and Wiley met on a gay dating app. She's a female, going out with a man, but she considers herself gay. And they live in a converted bus in their friend's backyard in San Antonio.
The bio of his Grindr account said something like, country boy, loves the wild, loves animals, vegan.
Oh, these are vegan.
And then like picture of a tree. Stephen said of Wiley,
all of the above is enough to open up a few eyebrows, but the kicker is that Wiley is pregnant according to an upcoming Extreme Love episode about the couple. So they're going to be on this extreme, you know, because they can't just do it quietly. Now they're going to expose their child to a slew of hatred.
Stubborn biology strikes again. You might be asking yourself how this happened. The thing is that while Wiley identifies as a transgender male and sports a beard, deeper voice, and a chest without breasts, Wiley, who was born female, still possesses a pesky vagina.
So they're calling the vagina, the canal, birth canal that her child is coming out pesky.
pesky.
You know, how is this child going to really, with all the negative energy, we spoke about this before, that when a woman is pregnant, they have to be ever so careful the messages they're sending to that child while that nervous system is being developed.
Because that baby is literally a part of her body.
Yes.
I mean, the baby and the mother are one at that point, and they're still connected, and they still remain connected until the umbilical.
Yep, exactly. So, ergo, a pregnancy that definitely was not planned, Wiley said, adding that I am a man and I am actually pregnant.
Yes, you are actually pregnant.
Pregnant, but you're not a man.
No.
Newsflash. Only women.
No.
Women. XX.
Only.
There is absolutely never in history in the world that humans have been humans that a man has ever had a baby. So do not try to change the language, because, you know, they've changed it from pregnant women and they want to change it to pregnant person to fit themselves in so they're not dysphoric. Well, did you think about this twice before you got pregnant?
Don't get pregnant.
You know?
The narrator for the episode's trailer echoed the sentiment, saying that, quote, carrying a baby isn't something many men expect to experience. Let me add to that. Carrying a baby is nothing that any man can ever experience. And only those that you know, I mean, are women can experience
women
carrying
as
a
the
baby.
only human being, the prototype female woman, XX, are the only ones that carry babies. So, newsflash, transgender men, you're not men. You're female that expresses in the gender. You prefer your gender pronouns to be him, he, whatever. You want to sport a beard and carry your life, but understand that biology will always follow you. If it weren't for your biology, you would not be able to carry that child, because only women carry a child 9 months to term.
That's it.
Wisely history. I have always felt uncomfortable in my female-born body, Wisely said, adding that pervasive feeling was being stuck in something I don't see as myself. Again, contradictory. You know, it's like, what does it feel like other than, you know, the body that you have, the body that is allowing you to be blessed to carry this child? Do you know how many women out there have tried to get pregnant, but they're infertile? Do you know the slap in the face that you are providing right now by those words that you're saying, when there's women that have been crying and trying so desperately to bring a child to this world, but they can't?
Yeah.
Is there stuff you need to read?
People writing.
Okay.
You really do want to know what your holy man did to my people. Sick pigs.
I'm sure.
This is a first, she says, left confused. And then Tara says, been watching you guys. Love you so much and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Tara, for joining us.
Yeah. Lisa says, I would never hurt you, Phoenix, right? Not ever. And 5J fan.
Hey, 5.
Us. Do you get offended or targeted often? I'm always curious. You're both wicked cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we do. We've have a lot of the people in the trans community that don't understand our education and why we do what we do. I think it's important for people to know the true reality. We tell everybody, express, be who you are, but do not hurt yourself. Do not hurt others. And don't engage in the mentality to think that you're born wrong, because you're born perfectly the way you are. Your expression as a creator God is up to you, as you see that we do. But, you know, this thing of forcing people to see certain things that they will never see, this whole agenda politically driven, is something that we're very much against, you know. And Phoenix says, touchy area. I don't understand. That's why I'm here, for knowledge. That's been hidden for so long. I want to understand.
And Lisa says, what about wisdom, Phoenix? Sarah B says, Alan Watts once said, to love oneself is to realize that your life is only at the beginning before you move on.
Interesting. Wisdom is God's daughter, says Phoenix. Name now. You were to find her, and she would help you with the knowledge of God they made her evil.
She's not evil. There are no words to describe her beauty, says Lisa.
And Phoenix says, you were to find her before her sun rose and she would talk to God for you, but you didn't, so it goes by words now. That is why I tell you to be good.
Phoenix is a little personal in explanation as she uses her own experience. The whole purpose of this is there is more than oneself.
Exactly, exactly. And again, Phoenix is a very wise soul. She is a shaman. Some people don't quite understand her completely because she speaks in a lot of parables. She speaks in a lot of metaphors. She speaks from her heart. She speaks from wisdom and from a different culture that we are all used to. So we love you, Phoenix, and continue to spread your love and your light and your knowledge. This is a war between them and her. So they told you she hates you, but she's the only one that does.
Lisa, yes. Understand the drive to have a kid, she writes.
Yes, but if you have the drive to have a kid, you don't do what you did, because now you're not only messing up your body with the chemicals that created that beard, but now you're messing up the chemistry of the child that you're carrying because of the years that you were on this chemical and the confusion that your child is going to have to deal with when, first of all, the mother can't even breastfeed the child because they've removed their breasts. So that bonding right there is gone. And I know not every woman breastfeeds their baby, but that is what it's meant for, is that bonding, that giving the child a better chance in life with a better immune system, with the things that are in mother's milk. The confusion of the child when the mother is carrying the child and sees that the mother has a beard and identifies as a man. I mean, these are all things that child is going to be made fun of. And also because they're going to be on national television promoting this. So it's just, yes, I understand the need of wanting a child, but you don't do what you did if you knew you wanted to start a family.
Sherry Sunshine joins us.
Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Hi, family. Hey,
hello.
Beautiful Cummings.
And Lisa says, sigh. And Phoenix says,
you have a twin. It is called your shadow. Do not look at it. It is in you.
wow.
She goes, Sherry says, I wanted to ask that question about the agenda to you guys. Thanks for addressing that. Love you too.
We love you too. And we're here to answer any questions that you guys have. Always very open and truthful. And Phoenix says, this will help. Have no friends because of this. And my family is sick of me. And my son just won't. I bet my son won't want to bet on this. For now, he did. Well, you got us as your family, Phoenix, and we love you, and hope that one day our paths will cross. When we get that traveling ban, we're definitely going to go visit you in Montana, I think is what
yes,
at, right? Montana. Lisa Farmer.
Sherry Sunshine, why do you sound familiar to me?
Sarah Bees, I promise you, Alan, Alina, it's Lina, and Mark, when we all have passed on, I will find you and hopefully get to say these words. Your videos were entertaining and very good company. Maybe even tickle Mark's afterlife beard. Thank you, Sarah Bees. And Lisa said,
I'll be your friend, Phoenix. Yeah. We all want.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all your friend. Hugs to Lisa Farmer.
Yes, yes. Traveling van. Yes, that's our van. Yeah, that's our dream and hope in a couple of years to actually get, we're going to call her Ministry on Wheels. And so that we could actually do this, whether it's in parks, locations, wherever people want us to gather and educate on all the different things that we do here on the show, but do it not on the camera, but in live,
and actually do interviews with people and really help people along.
Yes. Whether it's, I'm a certified nutrition consultant, master personal trainer, help people really make connections with themselves, heal, just hug people, in real life. Just kind of like make this more personable and more, real instead of internet type of thing. So that's our dream.
After hitting puberty, Wiley said dressing in guys' clothing wasn't enough in the quest to be more masculine.
So the first step in 2012 was testosterone treatment, followed by top surgery in 2013 to remove Wiley's breast, which would have come in very handy right now when the baby was born, right?
The result was others seeing how happy I was and how I could be myself, my true self of who I wanted to be and who I wanted to become as a man.
So true self, they couldn't be their true self, which is why just masculine, female. They had to like go take testosterone, which I might fault at that as well. But being your true self, you don't have to like alter yourself to be your true self. Your true self is just being you, in my humble opinion. But Wiley hasn't yet had bottom surgery, an operation to create a penis, according to the show. The minor detail is still existing. Female genitals, turns out, was a turnoff to previous partners.
Everybody thought I've dated in the past. They didn't accept me for who I was. Or they all okay with it up to an extent. Probably up to about where we became physically intimate, he said.
It's very hard for a trans man to have a gay relationship because gay men usually like the plumbing that goes with being a man. So, you know, either find a bisexual partner that would love you for either or, but it's very hard in the gay world. Stefan's reaction. Stefan, however, knew about Wiley's biology right off the bat, but still there was the question for Wiley, can you get pregnant?
They assumed the answer was no, due to that Wiley was told by doctors amid all the testosterone treatments, but that wasn't true, Stefan remarked.
Wiley started experiencing morning sickness and then learned of the pregnancy at 11 weeks.
I was nervous. I was very emotional. I started crying. Wiley recalled about the big moment.
As a gay person, I don't think I ever really planned for biological children, Stefan admitted.
Now what? According to the episode's trailer, the couple is torn about how to proceed. What am I going to do? Wiley asked. The episode is set to air Friday on We TV.
So one of the things that I warn people about this, that there are no long-term studies of the health, longevity of a child born of a trans man who has been on testosterone for as long as they have.
They don't know.
They don't know. They don't know anything. This is all pretty new science, guinea pigs, and to me, very, very scary stuff, you know?
Phoenix says, thanks, Lisa. The Romans took their swords and poked them above the man on the cross's head. That was his shadow they saw. That is called giving up your ghost.
Interesting. Well, speaking of shadows, look into this, please.
I met a man once named Chance. 5J. So you question what you see in the night sky? Space gives me goosebumps and an emotional feeling like that is home.
Wow. I mean, that's what I've always felt, that, what's his name again? 5J. That this isn't home, that, you know, like the E.T. movie, E.T. Go Home. And I would always, from the time I was a kid, look up and it's like, so that's, and you have felt that way too, haven't you? You know, it's like, and I'm sure many of you that are watching feel like we're an alien to this planet, which we are, you know. I think that, E.T. Go Home. Love that movie. Pieces. Yes, I love that movie. And Phoenix says that's why you see shadows. People, they are waiting to, you know, funny you mentioned that. One night I came home, so I was a teenager and I was drunk, but not totally drunk that I was seeing things. I got into my bed. I'm thinking my mom was going to check on me. And, you know, you pretend to be asleep and your eyes are slightly open. And I saw 3 shadow people. It's like one tall, middle, and then a smaller one come right next to my bed. And they were giving me their hand. And somehow I went to give the hand. I opened up my eyes and they disappeared. So the shadow people was, I don't know what that was all about.
So Lisa said, I met a man once named Chance.
Right.
He said, go outside, face north. What do you see? Phoenix says, NASA lies about the sky and moon. Look into this, please. And look down. You should see your shadow. Yes,
I think NASA is not giving us truth about a lot of things. I believe the moon is like a satellite of some sort. Lisa says, oh no, the north is closed, never to open again, says Phoenix.
And Lisa said, I didn't know what he meant at the time. He said, look down, you should see your shadow. This is when I first started searching.
Interesting.
So she said, go outside, face north. What do you see? And look down.
Go outside, face north, and look down.
you should see your shadow.
The north is closed. Okay. He turns you to the triangles. He turns you to the circles. Look into this also. You are turned to the circles now.
Not the shadow, the one within you.
Feeling a big hug, family. Boom. Yes. Big hug. Hug. Hugs to all of you. And Phoenix says hugs. Cher says, I totally don't belong here. What do you mean by that?
As far as alien.
Oh, yeah.
Looking into space actually does make me think I belong somewhere out there.
Yeah.
When this earth is destroyed, my body will also be out there.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. I can't put the words into it, but definitely we're going to be returning home, wherever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that happens, look away. They see your light, cherry sunshine. It feels so out of place also. You cannot destroy what you stand on. And we're coming to our manifestation meditation moment. All right. It's about self-actualization today. Finding the path that will lead you to self-actualization is very important. Growing within and learning to realize who you truly are and what you're meant to do is a great way to grow spiritually. I want you to close your eyes. Begin focusing on the breath. Find the space within where you feel the most calm. Is it your heart space? Is it your root chakra? Your throat chakra? Find the place on your body that you can find stillness and feel safe. Once you found that space, I want you to start chanting these words. Ami, Diwari. Ami, Diwari. Ami, Diwari. Continue as I read. You will be protected from dangers and obstacles. When we find that we are safe and not chasing our worries, but instead are free from danger, you can work on higher levels of our consciousness, which lead to self-actualization. Now visualize yourself free from burden, free from worries, free from the prison that you have been living in for a very long time now. No more obstacles, no more danger, just free. Continue to repeat the chant, Ami, Diwari, Ami, Diwari, Ami, Diwari. As you breathe freely and feel a sense of peace. Ami, Diwari, Ami, Diwari. And so it is. Namaste. All right.
Ami.
Yes. It's actually a chant to help Ami, Diwari. It's actually the chant. There's different types of chants, but this one in particular is to remove all obstacle and remove all danger and to feel free. This actually creates that. And to be able to self-actualize, you need to be able to remove all obstacles that are keeping you at a lower level. Self-actualization is when, in the pyramid sense of things, you're up high there. That's very psychological understanding that when we start at babies, we're at the lower levels. Right. As we mature and evolve, we become self-actualized. Right. So we need to get rid of obstacles. We need to feel free from danger, because if you're running from a tiger, you can't be self-actualized. If you don't have any food to eat, or you're so dominated in this meat suit, you can't self-actualize because you're living at lower levels in your lower red chakras.
You know what I was thinking of just right now? Babies are born with a soft skull.
Yes, which you have to be very careful with. And
so they're born with that opening. Okay, so as we enter this earth and this plane of physicality, we see that we're actually de-learning when we come in.
Yes.
And that we are being deprogrammed from it's like our DNA is being click,
turned off.
Click. And as we get to be like 1, 2 years old, and we let these other influences of sight, sound, touch, taste, feel, we let that become our primary organ and sensor, so that when we first arrive, we're connected.
Yes, and then
right?
we become disconnected. Very good, buddy.
Thank
You're
you.
so growing.
Thank you.
So proud of you.
Because I remember stuff at 5 where I felt more connected to like this overwhelming sense of all things, you know, that I didn't feel as I became.
Yes, sir. You
older.
mentioned something without, I rejoiced silently. I didn't like give you too much, whatever, because I like to let you, that you felt disconnected. The first time,
This
like,
morning,
yeah, it was last night actually before going to bed that you mentioned that, and this morning as well. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, because you kind of answered yourself. You know, when we're little, we feel connected to something, you know, and then as we start being programmed, that little soft spot starts to close. It's almost like, you know,
it closes.
Yeah. And it's like that chakra, that root chakra
It's
that allows us,
unable.
it's like they want to keep us here. So, you know, all these wonderful things that it's like, what was her friend there that said that she saw the blue lights and feelings and all that stuff. It's like exciting times that we're actually living in. And you cannot destroy what you stand on. Home is under your feet. Surprise! Go ahead.
Unless you want the other two, Enki Marduk, free will here. And Gail has another
thing to share.
Another thing to share. I love the cool down after the talk. This is great. This is God's church where 2 or more are gathered.
Exactly. And Sherry said, thank you. I love going within. That was nice. I was fine. I always try, and they all come to me, you know, depending what I feel that we need as a family, and things that we need to do to self-actualize, to grow, to get rid of the baggage, to decompress. You know, it's like, okay, it's a beautiful thing, you know?
So, again, look up everything I have said and show yourselves the truth.
Yes, totally. And Lisa says, I really am in a class all by myself at the moment. Aren't I? Meaning I don't fully fit anywhere yet. I don't care where you come from. Come down to my level or come up to my level.
Just speak straight to my heart. This is what I know.
And that's what all we do is speak straight to all of you's heart, because we're all connected. We're all one. We're all a family. And the illusion is that we're separated. The illusion is that we are broken. The illusion is that our hearts are wicked. The truth is that we are divine and we are perfect in every way. And we are learning and growing each passing day. And we love you. And Phoenix says,
Lisa, God looks at your heart and yours is good. I can see you. I would tell you if I saw darkness in you. I do not. That's good to know. The Cummings are clean also.
Yes. We love you. We love you so much. Well, guys, tomorrow we've got a guest and you all are going to love her to death. I mean, I listened to one of her videos and right away and I saw her website and bam, you know. So I love passionate people. I love people that have a mind, that have a heart, that know how to express, that know how to feel, you know, that are truthful and they're fighting for something and fighting in a good way, not as war, but allowing their passion to shine and to heal and to bring forth a message that is needed. And I love that. I'm a suckler for that completely.
It's amazing.
I love you. Mwah.
I love you too.
Yes. I love you guys.
Yeah. We love all of you.
Yes.
Even our enemies.
Yes.
Because they all have a role to play.
Yes.
You know? So yeah, this is a great thing.
Yeah. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Thank you guys for spending time with us and allowing us to grow. Thank you, Sherry, for being part. Guys, remember to subscribe, hit the like button, share, tell your friends to watch a bunch of crazy, genderly confused individuals here. But, you know, hey, it's all good. It's part of the growth of this human experience that we all agreed to take part of.
I needed to be here for you. You needed to be here for me.
And we needed to be here for all of you. And we need you all to be here for us, because that's how it works. One big happy family. The illusion is that we're separate. We're not. We are all one.
Gail says, thank you guys for your wonderful broadcasts.
Yes. And we are here for you guys. And like I said, every week we are going to, I mean, this so far, we've got guest schedule for tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. And then we'll see next week, you know, what else we've got. But if not, it's us. And, you know, we have fun here, you know.
Yeah, we do great.
Yeah.
We do great with you guys.
Yes.
I mean, contributing to the chat and everything. It's wonderful to have you guys. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Sherry, for saying we're not confused. It's the programming, you know. It's we've all been beaten down, you know, and told how bad we are and
how sinful
and all that stuff. But you know what? You're right, Sherry. We're not confused. We're all beautiful light beings, and we're here on a journey of exploration, of evolution, of enlightenment, and all that jazz.
And growth,
which is important.
We all want to grow. That's the important thing.
Yes.
Is that we all... This isn't a microphone.
We all want to grow. All right. Hello there.
Oh, we all want to grow.
Yeah.
We do. I remember in high school, one of the most important things to me was asking the divine for finding out what truth was.
And he gave you the answer. She gave you the answer.
And I think I know now.
Yes.
More than
she is awesome. And Phoenix says, love you too so much. I have things to show you and we want to learn. Please. Big hugs and kisses. Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. Now study. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we will.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you give us any curriculum.
Yes.
We
want to have you. That. Even if you don't want to show your face, we just, you know, because we would botch it up if we want to be able to have you tell it and we ask you the questions and you tell people and it's all the good stuff.
Places to show you. I'll never stop looking and I have stood out there. Wow.
Yeah, you're just an amazing mind. Like I said, I love beautiful minds like yours. You know, it's just like, that's what I live for, you know, to make connections and discover these beautiful minds that are all around us. They're all around us. All right, guys, we love you. But remember to always love yourselves too. And we're ending the show with another one of my songs. Wait, I got to turn on the Bluetooth. I
just turned it on.
Okay, is it on?
We love you, but remember to always love yourselves too.
Good night. And the song is called, let me see here. I have so many of them, I can never remember all my songs' names. It's been a while. This song is also on my album. This is just the acoustic version. I mean, the album is more worked, you know, and mastered and all that stuff. But the link is down below. And but I love this acoustic version of it. It's been a while.
It's been a while since we've spoken. It's been a while since we've seen the birds flying in the meadow, the children playing in the streets. You haven't called or written a letter. It's been so long since I've seen your smile. Only yesterday I held you in my arms. We were quite the pair, inseparable I thought, holding hand in hand while walking in the park. Where did we go wrong? It's been a while since I held you. It's been a while since I smelled your hair. Your tender kiss, I remember. Your gentle touch everywhere. You haven't called or written a letter.
It's been so long since I've seen your smile. Only yesterday I held you in my arms. We were quite the pair, inseparable I thought, holding hand in hand while walking in the park. Where did we go wrong? How did we go wrong? Only yesterday I held you in my arms. We were quite the pair, inseparable I thought, holding hand in hand while walking in the park. Where did we go wrong? How did we go wrong? I miss you so.